This is class 10th Mathematics Basic. This is a sample question paper which is released by CBSE. 3-hour paper it is, and the maximum marks is 80. There are different sections here. So part A, part B, and since we have two parts, both parts they have internal choices. So part A will have two sections. One will have 16 questions and we have internal choices also, that there will be or in between. And section 2, we have study based question, case study there. So we have 5 subparts and you have to do 4 out of 5. Any 4 you can choose out of 5. Part B, from 21 to 26, it's very small, very short, 2 marks. 27 to 33, it's 3 marks. 34 to 36, it's 5 marks. And we have internal questions also. 2 questions of 2 marks, 2 questions of 3 marks and 1 question of 5 marks. So this is what the situation is, and whenever we are doing the questions, I'll tell you there also what you have to do, and there is a proper marking scheme that what you have to do so that you get proper marks. So we'll start with part A. This is section 1, and you will have an idea, fair idea, that what all you have to do. Means the stepwise answer is provided, and I'll give you the marking scheme and solution hint also. First is express 156 as the product of primes. So prime numbers are those numbers which are divisible by themselves or 1. There is no other number which can divide them. So 156, take 2 here, 2 78s are 156. Then you take 2, and this is 2 3s are 6, 2 9s are 18. Then 13, 13 3s are 39. So you have 2 into 2 into 3 into 13. So 2 square you can write here. So 2 square, 3 and 13. You see these all number are primes, prime number. So if you write 4, 2 square, it will be wrong. So you have to write 2 square. Write a quadratic polynomial, sum of whose zeros is 2 and the product is minus 8. So whenever we have a quadratic polynomial, the formation is x squared minus the sum of the roots or sum of the zeros. 0 and root are same, alpha, beta, like we have seen in the theory also. So alpha and beta, that is 8a and b we are writing here. You can write alpha, beta as well. So x squared minus alpha and beta plus beta. This is sum of the zeros, and this is the sum, and plus x into, you have to have a x also, plus the product of these roots, alpha and beta product. So this is sum and this is product. Now you will put these values 2 and minus 8 here. So x squared minus 2x plus 1 equals 0. For example, here we have a root. So whenever we put these alpha and beta in this equation, it will be 0. I'm just giving an example. I'm giving an example. This is x squared minus 2x plus 1 is the example. So these are the roots. If you put something, it will be 0. So here sum of the roots is 2 and the product is minus 8. So I'm putting it here. This is the equation. Give the HCF. Given the HCF is given and the LCM is given. So HCF and LCM is given. We have to find the LCM because HCF is given. We have to find the LCM. So there is a relation. The HCF is given. So there will be an option. There is an OR in between. So we know the HCF and LCM, if you multiply, it will be equal to the product of the two numbers which are in contention, which we are talking about. So A and B equals HCF into LCM, right? So how to find out the LCM? LCM has been sought. And since the numbers are also given, LCM is going to be A into B, the numbers divided by the HCF. Now A and B is given, which is 96 and 404. Just put it here. 96 into 404 divided by the HCF, which is 4 given here, which is 4. So divided by 4 and you will see it will be 9696. This is how LCM will come. This relation you have to, these are the different parts, marking scheme, every step you have to write, right? These steps will give you the marks. So all these you have to write. I'm giving you the way to solve, but the printed material which you see here is the actual way you have to do. Now we have stated the fundamental theorem of arithmetic. Now what is the fundamental theorem of arithmetic? Every composite number can be expressed or factorized as a product of primes, and this factorization is unique apart from the order in which the factors occur. For example, we just saw 156. If you remember, 156 was the first question. Now this number can be factorized or expressed in the factor form 2 squared into 3 into 13. So these are all primes. These are the primes. So this is what is the fundamental theorem of arithmetic. Fourth is, on comparing the ratios of the coefficient, find out whether the pair of equations this and this is consistent or inconsistent. So what we will do is, one equation is a1x plus b1y plus c1 equals 0. This is the first equation. So let just put equation here, x minus 2y, there is no constant, so put it 0 equals 0 is equal to 0. So a1 is 1, just write it here, a1 1, b1 is minus 2, c1 is 0. So a1 b1 c1 we got. Similarly, we will do it for the second equation, a2x plus b2y plus c2. So 3x plus 4y minus 20 equals 0. Now a2 is 3, b2 is 4, and c2 is minus 20. Now a1 b1 c1, a2 b2 c2 is given. Now when a1 by a2 and b1 by b2 and c1 by c2, they have certain relation. If a1 by a2 is not equal to b1 by b2, that means these equations are consistent. Two pair of equations are consistent. Since we have a1 as 1 and a2 as 3, 1 by 3, b1 is 2, the b2 is minus 2 and b2 is 4. So 1 by 3 is not equal to minus 2 by 4, which is actually minus half. So this condition does not fulfill. Means it's fulfilled actually, it's not equal to, so it is consistent. But if a1 by a2 is equal to b1 by b2 is not equal to c1 by c2, a1 by a2 and b1 by b2 and c1 by c2, they are all equal. So then there will be some inconsistency will come that we'll later discuss it in one of the questions which is coming. One question is there. So a1 by b2, b1 by b2, c1 by c2 is not equal. That is, they are parallel, but they are not same. That is, they will have some distance from this the y-intercept has some different distance, but they are parallel. But a1 by a2, b1 by b2, c1 by c2, that means these two equations are similar. They are same. They both are same, right? So a parallel will never intersect, and those two equations which are same will never. How do they intersect? They intersect at infinite points. If A and B are co-prime numbers, then find the HCF AB. So what is a co-prime number? This question always is there somewhere. So co-prime numbers, when two numbers have no common factor other than 1. No common factor other than 1. What do we see here is that there is no whole number that can divide them, both of them exactly, without remaining any remainder, giving any remainder. So I'll give an example, 21 and 22. What is 21? You can write 21 as 7 3s are 21. So 7 into 3 into 1, 1, 3, 7, 21. These are all the factors of 21. So what is 22? 2 into 11. 2 into 11. Now you see 2 and 11 and 1, 3, 7, 21. There is nothing common. Only 1 is common. So those two numbers which have factors, only one is common. No other one is common. They are co-prime. So what is the highest common factor? By this discussion, it's clear that the HCF is 1. Highest common factor is 1, which you just saw in this example also. Co-prime definition you need to understand very well. It always comes. Find the area of a sector of a circle with radius 6 cm if the angle of the sector is 60 degree. So what is a sector? Sector is a part of a circle. How? You might be eating pizza, this part, one part, or even if you are eating chapati or roti, or uttapam, one part you cut it like this. This is the sector. It's a sector. So sector, the area of the sector of the circle, the radius is given. Radius is given. Here is also it is 6. Here also it is 6. And the angle of the sector is 60 degree. This is 60 degree. Now what is the area of the sector? The formula is theta by 360 into pi r square. Theta into 360 into pi r square. So theta is 360. Theta is 60. Pi is 22 by 7. R is the 6 into 6. So you have 18.86 centimeter squared. So always it will come in square units. A horse tied to a pole with 28-meter long rope. Find the perimeter of the field where the horse can graze. So this question is saying that there is a rope, pole and a rope is tied to the neck of the, or wherever, horse. Now this is a horse and horse cannot go beyond that. This rope it can only go up to this boundary, and this boundary it will actually form a circle. If you assume the horse can move around, it can move around a circle. So this is the perimeter of the field. So this is perimeter. So basically you have to find out the circumference of the circle being formed, and the rope distance is always same, that is the radius. So what is this? 2 pi r. 2 into pi, 22 by 7. R is radius, 28 meter. And that's going to come as 176 centimeter. 176 centimeter. So basically we are trying to find out the boundary, which is the perimeter of this circle being formed by the grazing, the extent of grazing of this horse. In this given figure, DE equals BC, parallel to BC. ADE is given as 70 degree and BAC is given as 50 degree. This angle is 50 degree. Then angle BCA. What is BCA? Okay, when two lines are parallel and there is a line which is intersecting them, then these alternate angles are, or corresponding angles are equal. So this is 70, this is 70. So if we find out this angle will be found. That is AED and ACB are equal. That is, this is 70, this is 50. I'm taking AD. This is 70, this is 50. This is given in the question. What is the angle AED? 180 minus 70 minus 50, because the sum angle property, 180 degree. So this angle is 60 degree. And when this is 60 degrees, same concept lie here, corresponding angle. This will also be 60 degree. Now, what I told you, you just have to listen and understand. But when you are writing, you have to write what you see here. That will give you the marks. Marks will only come when you write this. All things you have to write. Converse of Thales theorem. Then you have to write angle sum property of triangles. Everything you have to write like this. Then only you will get marks. The way I wrote, you won't get any marks. This is just for your understanding that how did we solve this question. Okay, again I am reiterating. This you have to write. Each and everything you have to write. Then only you are going to get full marks. You have to write Thales theorem, you have to write angle sum property of a triangle, and finally angle BCA like this you have to show. In a given figure, AD equals 2 centimeter, this is 2 centimeter, BD is 3 centimeter, AE is 3.5 centimeter, and AC is 7 centimeter. Now, AC is 7 centimeter. Please remember, sometimes what we do, we just overlook the question. And what we understand, this is 2, this is 3.5, this is 3, and this is 7. So we tend to do what? Because there is a BPT theorem. Okay, BPT will come later also, we'll discuss about that. So what we'll do, 2 by 3 and 3.5 by 7 we see, and we see, oh, they are not equal, and when they are not equal, BDE is not parallel to BC. But sometimes we do this mistake. But what we'll do, we are given AE here and we are given AC as whole. So from AC we have to subtract AE so that you get EC. That means this whole is 7, subtract 3.5, then you will get EC as 3.5. So now the ratio, actual ratio is AD by DB. If it is equal to AE by EC, that means DE is parallel to BC. So what we see, 2 by 3 equals 1 by 1, and this is not equal. That means from BPT, this is not parallel. DE is not parallel to BC. Okay. So 2 by 3 and this 3.5 or 3.5 is 1. So you have to write properly the subtraction, 7 minus 3.5, you have to show this, and also Thales theorem, you have to put here. This is the Thales theorem, BPT. The cost of fencing a circular field at a rate of rupees 24 per meter is rupees 5280. Find the radius of the field. So let me just give you first the idea. So this you have to put in examiner mind that you know everything. So this way you have to write, and now understand the solution. So there is a circular field. The cost of fencing means you are talking about the perimeter, that is the boundary. Boundary will always point to 2 pi r. And what is the rate of 24 meter? So when you multiply this whole boundary with this 24, because 24 by meter and this 2 pi r is also in meter, meter cancel, you will get in money. So you can check it also. So 2 pi r into 24 is 5280. That is the whole boundary multiplied by the cost per unit is going to be 5280. So when you multiply this 5280, now you can get from here r. So divide 24. Also you have to divide it by 22 by 7 and 2. So this length will come as 220 meter. So what is this 2? This is 2 pi r. This 5280 by 24 is 220. So you have to find out the r, dividing it by all the terms, because other terms are given, only r is to be found out. 35 meter is going to be the answer here. 35 meter. But you have to write these steps, right? Please remember. A tree breaks due to storm and the broken part bends so that the top of the tree touches the ground, where it makes an angle of 30 degree. The distance between the foot of the tree to the point where the top touches the ground is 8 meter. Find the height of the tree from where it is broken. So we have a tree, it's broken from here, it bent down. Now, this hole is the tree, now it is like this. But it has broken from somewhere between. So this is 30 degree from where it touches. So the angle is 30 degree and the distance also is given from B to C. If you see the figure also, its B to C is 8 meter. It's 8 meter. Now we have to find out the height from where it is broken. We don't have to find out the whole height. This edge, if I'm assuming it to be edge, we don't have to find that. We just have to find from where it is broken. So we are interested in AB. In this figure, this AB. So this capital H, let's assume total tree is capital H, small part which is remaining standard H. So tan 30, most of the time these trigonometric questions are solved by tan angle only. So tan 30 is perpendicular by base, small h by 8. So this is h equals 8 by root 3. This is the height of the tree from where it is broken, 8 by root 3. First you have to make the diagram, then you have to make this tan theta, and then finally write the answer. Step by step you have to do. If the perimeter and the area of the circle are numerically equal, then find the radius of the circle. So a circle perimeter is 2 pi r and area is pi r square. And when they are equal, that means pi gets cancelled, 1 r gets cancelled, so you have 1, 2, only r remaining and only 2 is remaining. So if you see here, perimeter equals area, 2 pi equals pi r square, only r equals 2 units. Now why unit is written? Very important. You cannot just write r equals 2. That will not be good. R equals 2 units. That means because r is in length, so you have unit. If sometimes you are asked about the area, you will write square units, volume cubic units, because you have to tell the examiner, I know that it is units, some centimeter, meter, kilometer will be there. So this is impacting more. Write the empirical relationship among mean, median and mode. So this is you have to remember this. There is no other way. 3 median equals mode plus 2 mean. 3 median equals mode plus 2 mean. To divide a line segment BC internally in the ratio 3:5, we draw a ray BX such that CBX is an acute angle. What will be the minimum number of points to be located at equal distance on ray BX? See, 3:5 we have to divide. So 3 points here. These are 4. So 3. 1, 2, 3 and 5 portions here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And you just have to, count from the last. Okay, first point not. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 points. Right? From the origin, how many cut you give? You have to remember that. Because we know that this is how we divide the line also. We make an acute angle line, then we make these parts and then we join them and then parallelly we divide. This is also, there is a question which is coming. We'll discuss about that. But here, if you don't even remember, just remember that 3:5, that means total is 8 number of points we need. This also you can go like this. So 8 points you are going to see. So how do we do this? I'll just give you an example. So we have to divide it into 3:5. So what do? We divide this into 8 parts, means make a line which is some acute angle with this original line. Then we join the last of this and then we make the parallel lines. So the third point, which is parallel to the last line, is basically wherever it is joining is dividing the line into 3:5 part. 3:5. There is a proper question. We are going to see this which is coming later. That is around 5 marks question, I guess. So we'll talk about that. You'll understand more. For what value of speed does the pair of equations these two have a unique solution? Unique solution means we have already seen this type discussion. A1 by A2 not equal to B1 by B2. Then only you have a unique solution. That means these two lines are actually intersecting. You will get a unique solution when? If you have a parallel line, you won't get any solution. If you have two lines which are exactly similar, you won't get any solution because it will be infinite solution. Only when the two lines are intersecting, then only you are going to get a proper. So A1 by A2 should not be equal to B1 by B2. That is 4 by 2 should not be equal to P by 2. This 2 gets cancelled. P not equal to 4. So P should not be equal to 4. So you have to write like this. Again and again, I'm reiterating. The content you see here, you have to write like this. Every step, everything you have to show the examiner that I know this. What type of straight lines will be represented by the system of equation, this and this? So the best thing is what? This is 2x plus 3y equals 5. This is 4x plus 6y equals 7. This is A1, this is B1, this is C1, this is A2, this is B2, and this is C2. So what is A1 by A2? This is 2 by 4. What is B1 by B2? It's 3 by 6. And what is C1 by C2? It's 5 by 7. So 2 by 4 is 1 by 2. 3 by 6 is also 1 by 2. So A1 by A2 is equal to B1 by B2. And what about this? 5 by 7, it's not equal to 5 by 7. That means these lines are parallel. These lines are not intersecting because A1 by A2 is not equal to B1 by B2. But they are parallel lines. A bag contains 3 red balls and 5 black balls. A ball is drawn at random from the bag. What is the probability that the ball drawn is red? So there is a bag. There are two parts actually. 3 red from here and 5 black balls from here. I'm just making it to separate it out. Otherwise they are mixed, right? So a ball is drawn at random. What is the probability that the ball drawn is red? So what is the probability? How do we do this? See, number of red balls is 3, number of black balls is 5. Total number of possible cases is 5 plus 3. That is 8 ball can be taken out. Total. And what is the favorable? 3, because only 3 red balls are there. So 3 by 8 favorable cases divided by number of possible cases is the probability. Favorable cases by total number of cases, total all possible cases is going to give you the result. 3 by 8 is the answer. 3 by 8 is the answer. Now this is OR. So either you have to do this or you have to do this, whichever is good for you. A die is thrown once. What is the probability of getting a prime number? Die is simply a square, cube, basically cube. So it has all the faces numbered 1 to 6. There are 6 faces of a cube. Now, what is the probability of getting a prime number? So in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, just write the numbers and try to find out which are the prime one. 2 is a prime, 3 is a prime, and 5 is a prime. So total number of total cases are 6 and favorable cases are 2, 3, 5, that is 3. So 3 by 6 is the probability of getting a prime number. Total number of possible outcomes 6, there are 3 prime numbers, 2, 3, 5. Okay, prime numbers are only divided by themselves or 1. That is how you can remember it. A tower stands vertically on the ground. From a point on the ground which is 15 meters away from the foot of the tower, the angle of elevation of the top of the tower is found to be 60 degrees. Find the height of the tower. So from here someone is looking, the top he is looking, so angle is what? 60 degrees. This angle is 60 degrees. And the distance, that is the point on the ground which is 15 away from the foot of the tower. This is 15 and it is there. Always remember tan we will use, mostly tan you will use in the trigonometric solution. So tan 60 is going to be h by 15. That is perpendicular by base. Tan 60 is root 3, it's going to be h by 15. So h is 15 root 3. That is going to be the answer, 15 root 3 meter. Probability of an event E and probability of the event not E. So always the addition of the probability will be 1. Please remember, probability of happening plus probability of the same event not happening. Please remember, I am talking about same event. Probability of happening plus probability of not happening. If you add them, it's going to always be 1. So probability of happening, say, is 0.4. Probability of not happening will always be 0.6 because when you add them, it's going to be like this. Section 2, we are going to see here. Case study based question is, so there are 4 subparts you have to attempt and each question carries 1 mark. So this is a content or a question being made from certain text, and this you have to read for some time because until you read it you will not be able to pick the question. So mathematics teacher of a school took her 10th standard student to show red fort, and this is 15 August our Prime Minister gives address to the nation. So it's a part of their educational trip, and this shape is very important for you. The teacher had interest in the story as well. She narrated the fact of red student for 2 students. Then the teacher said in this monument one can find combination of solid figures. There are 2 pillars which are cylindrical in shape. Now this is important. There are 2 pillars cylindrical in shape. So cylinder you have to be in your mind now. Now coming to 2 domes at the corner which are hemispherical. So now hemisphere has to be in your mind. So 2 figures, cylinder and hemisphere has come. 7 smaller domes at the center. So these are 7 smaller domes here. And so sphere, hemisphere and cylinder, 3 things have come. Flag hosting ceremony on Independence Day takes place near these domes as I just indicated you earlier. So this is this is a figure which has some 3D figure basically, and it's a structure. So now one by one we are going to do the questions. What kind of questions can come? So these are the questions, and these type of questions are going to come, and multiple question related to question also will come. So this hemisphere and cylinder and this smaller domes, that is the sphere, it should come into your mind. You need to know the area, surface area, lateral surface area, volume of these. So let us start with the first one. How much cloth material will be required to cover two big domes, each of radius 2.5 meters? How much cloth material? So these dome, we have to cover it using cloth, kapde se. How much cloth we need? So this is one of the domes, and they are being told that they are hemisphere, half ball, like cricket ball, half cricket ball. So what is the cloth material required? Because we need to have a surface area, because surface you are not going to cover. Surface area is 2 pi r square for a hemisphere, but there are two domes, 2, so multiplying it by 2, it will be 4 pi r square. Basically you are dealing with a whole sphere only, and whole sphere, this sphere has 4 pi r square. Now radius is given, radius is 2.5 meter, so just put it here, 4 into 22 by 7, r is 2.5, so just multiply it here, and solution I have given in front of you, and that is, this has to be in meter square, because the area has to be found, meter is the unit, so 78.57 meters square will come. B is the correct answer. So there are 4 subparts, and if 5 subparts, and if 4 you have to do. Now write the formula to find the volume of a cylindrical pillar. So cylindrical pillar, we know the formula of volume. Cylinder is like this is the shape, and we know the volume. This is pi r square h, pi r square, that is the circle which you see on top and bottom, and the height. If you multiply it, it will be volume. Find the lateral surface area of two pillars if height of the pillar is 7 meter and the radius of the base is 1.4 meter. So let us come again to this. This is a cylinder, and the height is given as 7 meter. From this point to this point, it's 7 meter. And the radius of the base is 1.4 meters. So this is radius, 1.4 meter it is. Height is there, radius is there, 1.4 meter. Okay. Now lateral surface area is what? It's whole surface area without the top and bottom surface. We don't take this lateral. If you take top and bottom, it will be total surface area. So you just have to take the round one, that is 2 pi RH. It will be 2 pi RH. But since there are two pillars, so you have to multiply it by 2. 2 into 2 pi RH. So it's going to be 4 pi RH. Pi is 22 by 7. Radius is 1.4 meter and the height is 7 meter. It's 123.2 meter square. Again, this is the area, so square unit it will come m square, meter square. So this is the lateral surface area. Now the fourth part of this question is, see, these are 5 and you have to take 4 of them. You have to do four of them. Now, how much is the volume of a hemisphere if the radius of the base is 3.5 meter? So we have to take a hemisphere. You need to know the volume of a hemisphere. So this is a hemisphere. The radius of the base is given. Volume is radius. When the radius is 3.5 meter, what is the volume? Do you remember? I'll just tell you. It's 2 by 3 pi r cube. So 2 by 3 pi r cube. Hemisphere it is. Hemisphere. So 2 by 3 into pi is 22 by 7. And this is r is 3.5 and just cube it. When you compute it, it is going to be 89.83 meter cube. Now, if you have done 4th, it's okay. You don't have to do this. So what is the ratio of the sum of volume of two spheres of radius 1 centimeter is to the volume of a sphere of radius 2 centimeter? So volume of a hemisphere we need to know. We have just seen. So ratio of sum of volumes of two hemispheres. So there is one hemisphere, say HS1, I'm saying it. The other is volume of first one and volume of the second one. I'm saying this hemisphere is second. So sum of volume of two hemisphere, this one and this one, of radius 1 centimeter. Radius is 1 centimeter. We are going to use this radius just now. And to the volume of a sphere of radius 2 centimeter. So we have this volume of sphere of radius 2 centimeter. This is radius is 2 centimeter. So now we have just seen it's 2 by 3 pi r cube is the volume. So since these two hemispheres are same, means almost similar, so we can combine this X and x will be 2x if you assume it to be. So 2 into volume of hemisphere, because the volume of hemisphere is okay, equal. So 2 into 2 by 3 pi r cube and divided by this whole sphere is 4 by 3 pi r cube. Previously it was hemisphere, and then in the denominator you have to use whole sphere. Pi gets cancelled, 3 gets cancelled, 2. So this is 2 and 4 will also gets cancelled. So you have r1 cube by r2 cube. That is the radius of hemisphere, radius of the sphere. But first radius is 1, so just cube it. Second one is 2, so just cube it. 1 cube by 2 cube. So it's 1 by 8. So 1:8 is the answer here. This, if you don't want to do, you don't do it because 4 has already been done. But it's always good to know everything. Class 10 student of a secondary school, because there are 4 questions going to come. And this is basically a coordinate based question. Coordinate. Class 10 student of secondary school in Krishnagar have been allotted a rectangular plot. This is a rectangular plot we are talking about for gardening activity. Gardening activity. Saplings of Gulmohar. So Gulmohar is a very nice tree. Red flowers come. So they are planted on the boundary at a distance of 1 meter from each other. So these are the plants in green which you see. So these are the different plants, 1 meter each. There is a triangular grassy lawn in the plot as shown here. This is a triangle which is PQR triangle or QRP triangle, and this is somewhere in between. The students are to sow seeds of flowering plants on the remaining area of the plot. So remaining area, other than this green area, some seeds are to be planted here. So now let us go to one by one. Now A has to be considered as the origin. So A will be 0, 0. How? When we take the origin, we have a coordinate system, that is the Cartesian coordinate system. In this we have origin. Origin is 0, 0. So how does we take it? This is 0, 0. Right, when we go it's plus. Left we go plus. Up we go plus. Down we go negative. So the answer is C, because C is origin, and considering A as the origin, what is the coordinate of A? A is origin only, so 0, 0. What are the coordinates of P? What is the coordinate of P? Let us go here. Now P. Now we have to find out X first. So this is the X-axis. A is the origin. So just take 1, 1, 1 distance, because it goes up to 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have X as 4. X as 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now coming to the Y. You have to go to take the Y. So let us go to P now. Now just count number of these trees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6. So 4, 6 is what we see here. X is 4 on the right direction. 6 is on the upward direction. So 4, C, there are plus. So 4, C, A is the correct answer. Next is, this is 4, 6. What are the coordinates of R? What are the coordinates of R? So let us go to the R. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So R is 6, X is 6, this is 6. And then this Y, let's take Y. What is the Y? Just one below it. So it's 5, I can see that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you count, it will come as 5, 6, 5. So this answer is A, 6, 5. What are the coordinates of D? What are the coordinates of D? So D is on the X-axis. So it will not have a Y coordinate. On Y coordinate, X is 0, and X coordinate, Y is 0. So from here, you can see the numbering is given 10, so 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 16 days coming. So 16 X coordinate, Y is 0. So 16, 0 is the coordinate of D. This is the answer, 16, 0. Oh, A is the answer, 16, 0. What are the coordinates of P if D is taken as the origin? So D is, we have taken origin now. So this is now 0, 0. Now we are going back. In order to find P, for X we are going back. For Y, it doesn't matter. It means it will be upward. So sign doesn't matter. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 12 it is coming. See, backward I am coming. If you count it, I just counted it, it's 12. See, when we take the Cartesian coordinate system, and we have positive here, negative here. So we are stepping backwards from the origin, it's minus 12. And this is positive. Why positive? So we have already taken this. Same thing it will be. Same distance, even if you take from here. So it is 6, minus 12 and 6. So answer is B. Minus 12 and 6 is the answer. Now this is the 19th question. This is also of 5 marks. So this is of Patang, kite. Rahul is studying in 10th standard. He is making a kite to fly it on a Sunday. A few questions came to his mind while making the kite. Give answers to his questions while looking at the figure. So you need to know certain formula, certain relationship of this kite. Rahul tied the stick at what angles to each other? So it's mandatory to make a kite. These diagonal or the sticks have to be at 90 degree. Have to be at 90 degree. So this is how we make it. So what are the, you can see from the figure even, and we know also these are 90 degree. These are first and second stick. It has to be 90 degree. So this is 90 is the answer here. Coming to the second one, which is the correct similarity criteria applicable for smaller triangles at the upper part of this kite? So first of all, you need to know what is available, angle, side, SSA or RHS. So the best is side angle side. So this is the side. I'm talking about the smaller triangles at the upper part of the side. So you have this 90 degree already, okay, and you have this S also side and one more side, because it's by symmetry. The base is going to be same for the smaller diagonal, or you can say smaller diagonal, which is the side of these other two triangles, smaller triangles. So side angle side is best. Do you know that AS, SSA or RHS even exist? Just let me know in the section, okay, comment section. Just let me know. What I'm trying to suggest here is side one is common, other is half, and the other is one is 90 degrees. SAS is the best in this case. Sides of two similar triangles are in the ratio 4:9. Corresponding means of these triangles are the ratio. Now we know median are always in the ratio of what the sides are. This already we have seen, right? So what we will do, we take a triangle. If we take two triangles, and these two triangles, we have already seen the theorem while we were doing the theory, that the ratio of the sides are equal to the ratio of the median. So we just don't have to worry about anything. There is a proper relation. Side 1 by side 2 equals 4/9. So it will be also the ratio of the median. So this median is this. It divides the other side, means the opposite side, into parts, equal parts. So 4/9 is the answer here. 4/9 is the answer here. In a triangle, if square of one side is equal to the sum of the squares of the other two sides, then the angle opposite to the first side is a right angle. This theorem is called as. Now let me tell you that this is a converse of Pythagoras theorem. The answer is here. How? They are saying the square of one side is equal to the sum of, that is square of one side. Let us take that one side as C. The other two sides we are taking as A and B. So this is C. This is C square equals A square plus B square. This is C square equals A square plus B square. Now what then? Angle opposite to the first side is a right angle. Now this angle is 90 degree. So this is a converse of Pythagoras theorem, because you will tempted to answer Pythagoras theorem, but it is not. It is converse of Pythagoras theorem. Why? Because C square equals A square plus B square. And Pythagoras is somewhat different. It is saying that if one of the angle is 90 degree of a triangle, then the sides holding that 90 degree, the sum of the square of the side will be equal to the square of opposite side, that is not holding that angle, opposite to that angle. So this is opposite what the content they have given. It is not Pythagoras. It's the converse or the reverse of Pythagoras theorem. D is the correct answer here. So just tick D here, right? D is the correct answer. Okay, coming to what is the area of the kite formed by two perpendicular sticks of length 6 cm and 8 cm. So we have, if you see this directly, the shape of the kite is what? The area is what? Diagonal multiplier. Kite, D1 diagonal, D2 diagonal. So one is 6, one is 8. just multiply the diagonals, and that is going to be the area of the kite. So it will be in centimeter square because it is given in centimeter, so centimeter square it will be. Due to heavy storm, an electric wire got bent as shown in figure. It followed a mathematical shape. Answer the following questions below. So there was a wire, it was straight as seen here, shown here, and then means it has shown to be bended. So because of a storm, it bended. So name the shape in which the wire is bent. So spiral is like this, ellipse is andakar like this, an egg, leader is straight. So it's a parabola. This is parabola. You can see here also. So the answer here is parabola. D is the correct answer. How many zeros are there for the polynomial? So shape of the wire. How many zeros? See, what is a zero? Whenever you have an expression or that expression is function is showing some figure. How many times this figure or shape, this intersects x-axis. So number of time it intersects the x-axis, that is what? The zeros. That is only the zeros. So this is what? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times it is cutting this figure, particular figure. So there are 4 zeros for this figure. Okay, this is the explanation I am trying to suggest here for this. What in this figure it is showing that this is cutting one time here, another time here, one time here, another time here. So how many zeros we have? Zeros are 2. Number of time it cuts the x-axis. So this is 2 times, 1 time, 2 times. And now I am showing you the actual figure which is in this question. So the answer is 2. The zeros of the polynomial are, now zeros of the polynomial, wherever it is cutting the x-axis, as you see it is cutting x-axis, so y has to be 0. So there are 2 x points. There are 2 x points. One is -1, one is 3. So we don't have a y here. So -1, 0, and this is 3, 0. 3, 0. These are the zeros of the polynomial. -1 and 3 is the answer. -1 and 3. Okay, -1, 3. B is the correct answer. So -1 and 3 were the 0. Basically, they were alpha and beta. These are the roots. Zeros, roots are same. So alpha and beta is -1 and 3. So what is the expression of the polynomial? If you see alpha and beta, this is quadratic because there are 2 zeros. So x square will give you 2 solution. So quadratic equation it will be. What is the formula of, or what is the formation of this quadratic? X square minus x into alpha plus beta, sum of the roots, plus alpha into beta, product of the root. So alpha into beta will be 3 into -1 is -3. And alpha plus beta is 3 minus 1 is, that is going to be 2. So just put in here, x square minus alpha plus beta is 2x, and alpha into beta is -3. So x square minus 2x minus 3 is the expression of the polynomial. This is the expression of the polynomial. What is the value of the polynomial if x equals -1? X equals -1. So we have x square minus 2x minus 3. So what are the zeros? We already know -1 and 3 were the zeros. And how did we get it? When it was cutting the x-axis, that is x is 0. So x is y is 0. So x minus 1 will give you this expression 0 only. That is, even if you put -1 or 3, this expression is going to give you the value of 0 only. Okay. So this is going to be 0. 0 is the answer, D. This is part B now. All questions are compulsory. So we have internal choices. So I'll tell you wherever it is. Find the coordinates of the point which divides the line segment joining the points these two in the ratio this internally. Now this point can be changed, or this number can be changed. The points can be changed. So it can be internally also, externally also. So you have to be prepared for all these, right? Means this is the sample paper. So this kind of questions or this related questions will come. So if we have 2 points which is given here, and this is a line, and here it is saying that it is divided 3:1. So 3 part and 1 part like this. Now this point is 4 minus 3. This point is 8, 5. So this is multiplied 3 into 8. So we call it as M1 and M2. And this is X1, Y1 and this is X2, Y2. So the formula, if you remember, M1 has to be multiplied by X2. So M1, X2. And then M1, X2. Now M2 has to be multiplied by X1. So M1, X2 plus M2, X1 divided by M1 plus M2. Always M1 plus M2 will come. This is the X coordinate of this point which is dividing this line 3:1 internally. If it is externally, then you have to subtract. The subtraction sign will be there. So now m1 by 2 and same thing as x1. So m1 by 2 plus m2 y1 by m1 plus m2. This formula we are going to use for external, it will be negative. For internal, it's positive. So now put the value 3 into 8 plus 1 into 4 divided by 3 plus 1. This is your x point, which is 7. And 3 into 5 plus 1 into minus 3 divided by 3 plus 1. And this is your y point, which is going to come 3. So 7, 3 is the required point of this question. Internally dividing these 2 points. So this is the marking scheme. You have to first write that this is the section formula. So if you can write the section formula, you'll get half of the marks. And then the computation is for another part of, or say another half of the marking scheme. Now this is internal choice. Find a relationship between x and y such that point xy is equidistant from point 7, 1 and 3, 5. So this is the marking scheme, how you have to solve. And let me tell you the concept. So this all you have to write, right? And this P is the point xy. Take it as xy. Normally we take it as xy. And the point A is given as 7, 1. And point B, take it as 3, 5. Now equidistant means PA is equal to PB. The distance of P from point A is equivalent or equal to the distance of point P from B. So PA equals PB is given. This is given. Now we will use the distance formula. So you have to write the distance formula. You need to properly write the distance formula first. And then after writing this distance formula, you can mention the distance formula also. In question, mathematics question, always we first give given, what is given and what has to be found out and what are the assumptions we have made. So y2 minus y1 whole square plus x2 minus x1 whole square under root. This is the distance formula. You can also write y1 minus y2 whole square plus x1 minus x2 whole square. It doesn't matter. It can be anywhere. Okay. And also one more thing. If you write y1 minus y2 whole square and x1 minus x2 whole square, and you can bring x1 minus x2 first and then y1 minus y2 whole square, then also it is true because it is negative sign. Negative sign, if it comes in square, it will be positive. So whichever formation you write, you don't have to learn it like that. Oh, it has to be like this only. No. You can write, you just remember you have to subtract the x coordinate, subtract the y coordinate, square it, add it and then make the under root. This is what the basic thing is. Now PA, PB will come in the under root. So what we'll do? This is formula. That is x minus 7 whole square plus y minus 1 whole square. We don't want the under root, so we are squaring both sides. PA square and PB square making it. PA equals PB, now we are squaring it. P square plus PB square. Okay. Now x minus 7 whole square plus y minus 1 whole square equals x minus 3 whole square plus y minus 5 whole square. Now a minus b whole square, you know the formula. You just open with a minus b whole square. When you open this, all the 4 of these, when you open this, you will see x square gets cancelled with x square. Y square gets cancelled with y square. And whatever is remaining, just take it on one side and just solve it. That is, x square cancel, y square cancel. Take the x term, find the value. Take the y term, find the value. Take the constant, find the value. This will be the x minus y equals 2 will be the result. In this figure, if LM is parallel to CB, this LM is parallel to BC or CB, and LN is parallel to CD. LN and CD are parallel. We have to prove that AM by MB is equal to AN by ND. So there are two triangles here. First we'll take triangle ABC, then we'll take triangle ADC. This is how you have to write. This is a BPT. You know this. We've already seen in our theory discussions. So when we have a triangle and there is a line which is parallel to third side, means one side, it divides the other two sides in equal ratio. Equal ratio. So this by this equals this by this. This is how we generally call the BPT, right? So now let us take the triangle, both the triangles separately. We're taking the triangle ABC first, or ACB you can call it. So when we take this triangle, this ML is parallel to BC. ML is parallel to BC. Now this AM by MB will be equal to AL by LC. AM by MB equals AL by LC. So just see that AL by LC, this we are going to eliminate. And now coming to triangle ADC or ACD. Now another triangle which is which is with this common side is AC in both. So in triangle ADC or ACD, we have a line which is parallel to CD, LN is parallel to CD, or NL is parallel to DC. So when we apply this BPT, this AL by LC will be equal to AN by ND, AN by ND. So this is relationship number 2. If I say this is X, this is Y, this is Y, this is Z. If X is equal to Y and Y is equal to Z, that means X will be equal to Z. Okay, by analogy. So AN by NB is also equal to AL by LC, and AN by ND is also equal to AL by LC. That is AN by NB is equal to AN by ND. So this is equating, and this is how this will be. These two will be equal. This is how you have to write. A quadrilateral ABCD is drawn to circumscribe a circle. Prove that AB plus CD equals AD plus BC. Now there is a circle and you have a quadrilateral. Inside this circle, this circle is circumscribed inside this quadrilateral. That is, the circle is touching these 4 sides. So in order to solve this, one concept is used. The concept is the distance or the length of the tangent from a point, external point, to a circle. These two tangents length will be equal. That means if you have these two lines, this is a tangent, this is a line, these two has to be equal. So let us see here. DR and DS are the tangents. So DR will be equal to DS. So these are tangents. So DR and this is S. So what I am trying to suggest here is DR is equal to DS. So we have 4 relations of this type will come. You have to write properly. Length of tangent from the external to a circle are equal. So DR equals DS, and with this same discussion, with same logic, CR will be equal to CQ. It doesn't matter if you write RC or CR, it doesn't matter, okay? Then we have AP and AS. You can also write SA and PA, doesn't matter. But these two has to be equal. AP equals AS. So coming to B, BQ equals BP. BQ equals BP. So now these 4 we have got from the relationship discussed. Now we need AB plus CD. What is AB? AB is AP plus PB. So where is AB? Where is AP? Where is PB? Here. So we'll just change the position. That is, AP and AS are equal. BP I am taking here and BQ I am taking here. Just to add it, just to make the answer. And what about DR? DR is this. What is DR and RC? DR and RC will be equal to DC or CD. CD, DC are equal. Same thing. So DR and RC. So you can just write it here. We don't have to change the positions. It's the same position which we want. So DR and DR equals DS and CR equals or RC equals CQ. Now we'll add the left hand side all the 4 and right hand side all the 4. So these are 4 equations and we are adding the left hand side of these 4 equations and the right hand side of the 4 equations. So DR plus RC, you have to write total DR plus RC and AP plus PB. I'm just suggesting that this DR plus RC and AP plus PB equals DS plus AS. Now you can combine DS and AS. You don't write DS plus CQ. You write DS plus AS. I'm just connecting the dots so that we get the proper answer. Okay. Now the CQ and BQ, BQ will be becoming BC. Now just combine. DR plus RC is what? DC or CD you can write. AP plus PB is what? AB. DS plus AS is AD or DA. AD or DA you can write. CQ plus QB is CB. You can write CB or BC. Now just write in the way they have given. In place of DA you can write AD. CB you can write BC. DC you can write CD. And AB you can write AB. AB will remain same. So the concept is clear to you. Only this CD, DC, it doesn't matter. It is equal. Okay. So the main thing is a point external to the triangle will have equal tangent distance. Draw a line segment of length 7.8 cm and divide it into the ratio 5:8. Measure the 2 parts. So this is a construction problem. Now you don't have to worry about all these steps. Don't have to do in that detail. So the question can be 5:8. It can be 4:9. The line can be 7.8. It can be 8.2. It will not be same in your actual exam. Please remember, it may change. We don't know because this is a sample question of CBSE. So the concept I am telling you, whatever is the length of the line segment, first draw this line, straight line, using your ruler. This is A and this is B. So this is 7.8 centimeter you have to draw. Now make an acute angle. It can be 30 degree, 45 degree. It has to be less than 90 degree. In geometry box, whatever is there with you, just use it. You know what to use where. This is what angle. This has to be an angle between less than 90 degrees. So 30 to 60, any angle between 30 to 60 will do. Now 5:8. 5:8 means there will be 5 plus 8, 13 parts. AB has to be divided into 13 parts. So you have to use these 13 parts on this AX. So these parts, I'm just taking this means pointed of our geometry, pointed and the pencil, and then I'm marking with equal distance. This is A1, A2, A3, A4, and this goes up to A13. So it has to go up to A13, right? These are 13 parts. Now this 13 part. Now you can join this 13th part with this B. Let us call it as X. So we are joining B and X. So now coming to fifth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This fifth part, the end of this fifth part. Now make the line parallel to this line which is BX. Let me just make it BX. So we are drawing, you know how to draw a line which is parallel to BX, okay? So now what you will do, you will draw a line which is parallel to this BX. Just let me show you. You have to write it like this. A1 till A13 you have to write. You have to cut also, show the construction to the examiner, and then draw a line which is parallel to this BX. So in this BPT theorem, when there is a line parallel to one side of a triangle, divides the other two sides in the equal ratio. That is, this part, this 5:8. If this part is 5:8, this part will also be 5:8. Just compute the length or find out the length and write it. That will be a better answer to be provided by you. Now given 15 cot A equals 8, find a sin A and sec A. So 15 cot A equals 1. What? 15 cot A equals 8. What is cot A? Cot A will be 8 by 15. So what will be tan A? Tan A will be 15 by 8. You can also do with cot A, it doesn't matter, because we always deal with sine, cos and tan. That is why I converted it into tan A. So tan A is perpendicular by base. This is theta, tan A or tan theta you can say. If you take A as the point, you can also call it as tan A. A is the angle. Now this is B, this is C. What is tan A? It will be perpendicular by base. It will be BC by AB. So 15 by 8. So it can be 15x and 8x because it can be 30 by 16. And eventually it will come to 15 by 8. But we never know. It can be 30 by 16 also. That is why we write 15x and 8x in the solution. But you don't have to worry about this. You can just directly write 15 and 8. Now we'll use the Pythagoras theorem, 15 and 8. We know how to find the side of third side. We'll apply the Pythagoras theorem. You have to write like this, by Pythagoras theorem. Pythagoras theorem is saying AC square equals AB square plus BC square. AC square is AB square plus BC square. And since this is 8 square, 15 square, and when you take the under root, let me tell you it is 289. Under root at 289 is 17. So this side will come as 17. So now you have all the three sides of a triangle. You can find out sin A also and sec A also. So sin, if you have any problem, just remember Pandit Badri Prasad Har Har Bol. This sin A is what? Perpendicular upon hypotenuse. Sin A. Perpendicular upon hypotenuse. So take the angle A. Take what is perpendicular to it. It's BC. It's BC. 15 by 17. Now sec A. First take cos A. Cos A is base upon hypotenuse. Sec A will be hypotenuse by base. So sec A is hypotenuse which is 17 by base. Base is what? 8. 8. So 17 by 8 will come. Please see here, cos A is what they have provided. CBSE has provided the answer. It's 8 by 17, but we are being asked sec A. This is wrong. No, you have to write sec A. If you write cos A, you won't get marks. You have to write sec A, 17 by 8. Now hold 10p minus cot R. 10p minus cot R. So there is only one trick here, that the angle are changing. So when we take tan P, perpendicular will be QR and base will be PQ. When you take angle R, perpendicular will be PQ and base will be QR. What about cot R? Cot R and tan P. Let us say cot R first. First, let us find out the side. So let us use the Pythagoras theorem. So this will be 5. It will be 13 square minus 12 square. I am doing it directly. So this QR will be 5. I hope you will be able to do it, right? Because PR square equals PQ square plus QR square. So in order to find out QR square, you have to write what? You have to write PR square minus PQ square. By Pythagoras theorem, PR square equals PQ square plus QR square. In order to find out QR square, you have to write PR square minus PQ square. That is 13 square minus 12 square. So the under root of 13 square minus 12 square, which eventually will be coming under root 25, which is going to be 5. So this is 5. Okay. Now we will use tan P and cot R. What is cot R? This is R. Cot is. Let us find out tan R first. Tan R is perpendicular by base. Perpendicular is 12, base is 5. So tan R is 12 by 5. And what about cot R? If tan R is 12 by 5, cot R will be 5 by 12. 5 by 12, cot R. Okay, now coming to tan P. Now I'm just changing the, you can say turning this angle. So now P I'm writing here, Q is here and R is here. This is how we look normally. So I'm talking about this angle, this P angle. So PQ is what? 12. This PQ is 12. And what is QR? It's 5 and this is 13. So now according to this triangle, what is your tan P? It is perpendicular by base. P 5 by 12. QR by PQ. So now we have tan P 5 by 12, cot R 5 by 12. Tan P minus cot R 5 by 12 minus 5 by 12. And that is going to be equal to 0. Okay. That's going to be 0. How many terms of the AP 9, 17, 25 must be taken to give a sum of 636? So AP is given and we have to add them and show that what is the number of terms which will give the addition as 636. So you have A as 9 first term. What is the common difference? 17 minus 9 is 8. 25 minus 17 is what? It's 8. So the first term is clearly given as 9 and the common difference is 8. And the sum is 636. So just use the sum formula of this AP. Now this all you have to write, which I told you, spoken. You have to write it. You have to pen down all these. So this Sn will be n by 2, 2a plus n minus 1 into d. A is what? 9. D is what? 8. So we have, when we solve this, I'm not solving it, I'm just showing you that this particular result is going to come. 4n square plus 5n minus 636. Now what I'm trying to suggest here is, if you try solving this, it will be very difficult in the examination time. If you don't get it, you'll be wasting your time. So the best thing is to use Sridharacharya formula always. Sridharacharya formula is the best in this case. Right? I'm just telling you, don't waste your time in factorizing it. Sridharacharya formula, just close your eyes and apply it. Minus b plus minus under root b square minus 4ac by 2. This is A, this is B. A is 4, B is 5 and C is minus 636. Now apply it here. One time you use plus, one time you use negative. When you use positive, you'll get 1, minus 106 by 8. When you take negative, that is plus, you'll get 96 by 8. So one time 12, one time minus 53 by 4. N can never be negative. Okay, this is not possible actually. So N is going to be 12 is the answer. Prove that root 3 is an irrational number. So these all questions which are coming, most of the questions, around 40% of the question are not from your exercise. They are coming from the solved questions. That is the example being given in your NCERT book. It's basically coming from there. Okay. So whatever is not in the exercise, you have to do those questions also. So we have to prove that root 3 is an irrational number. These type of questions are not solved like this. We have to assume that it is a rational number. Then we'll contradict ourselves. And then we'll say, oh, we were wrong. Root 3 is indeed an irrational number. So we'll always start with root 3 is a rational number. We start with this. That root 3 is a rational number. And then we'll prove it to be irrational by contradicting ourselves. From making ourselves wrong, proving that we were wrong. So when it is rational, what does it mean? Rational means P by Q form. P by Q form. Plus, please remember, P and Q has to be co-prime. That is the highest common factor of PQ has to be only 1. That is P by Q, for example, 13 by 7. This is correct. You can't have 14 by 7. Okay. So you have common, 7 common if you take 14 as 2 into 7. So P by Q is, they have to be co-prime. So when you multiply both sides, cross multiply, root 3 will be what? P by Q, or in any way you have to prove that this 3 is equals to P square by Q square, or whichever way you take. Finally, you have to do what? You have to show that 3 divides P square. What I am saying is Q square equals P square by 3. So P square by 3, that is, if P square is divided by 3 or divisible by 3, P is also divisible by 3. If P square is say 9, I am just giving an example. What does it mean? 3 into 3 divided by 3. If that is 3 is dividing 3 also, 3 is dividing 3 also. That is 3 is dividing P also, P is divided by 3. So basically, when P square is divisible by 3, P is also divisible by 3. So when P is divisible by 3, that means 3 is a factor of P. But we started with saying what? We started with saying, oh, it's a co-prime. So let us check for Q also. So first is, it is divisible by 3 is a factor of P. Now taking this P as 3C, take any constant, 3C or 3K. Now when you put it here, 3C square, what you will get? 9C square. That is 3 square C square by 3. So basically 9 by 3 it is. It was eventually 3 only. So 3Q square is 9C square. So what you get, this Q square. When you get 3Q square by 9, that is Q square by 3 equals C square. So again the same concept. Q is also divisible by 3. That is 3 is a factor of Q also. Previously 3 is a factor of P we proved. Now we proved that 3 is a factor of Q also. So when you have a factor of 3, P also has a factor of 3, Q also has a factor of 3. That means the co-prime which we assumed was wrong. We started saying it's a rational number which is co-prime, but we proved that it is not possible. The 3 is even factor of P and Q. So our assumption is failing here, and we can assume that our assumption was wrong. Root 3 is indeed an irrational number. Two tangents TP and TQ are drawn to a circle with center O from an external point T. Prove that angle PTQ equals twice of angle OPQ. So the solution is in front of you. This is exactly how you are going to write. Right? First, whenever we have to prove, we need to write what is to be proved, what are the assumptions we are taking, and then finally formula, and then finally proof. So whichever way you take, it has to be in this way. The marking scheme is like this, as suggested by the CBSE. Okay, now let us start with one by one. There are two concepts we are going to use. This angle PTQ is theta. That this we start by saying that angle PTQ or QTP is equal to theta. So when you draw a tangent from a point to the circle, these tangents are equal. We have already seen in earlier question also. So PT and TQ are equal. So let me make a triangle first. I am making a triangle PTQ or QTP or TPQ, all are same. So TPQ. Now I am saying this TP equals PQ. Why? Because this is an isosceles triangle, two sides are tangent. So when these sides, opposite sides are equal, opposite angle will also be equal. This means this angle and this angle are equal. These two angles are equal. So when these two angles are equal, let us say it to be x. Just assume it to be x. So what will be the theta in terms of x in terms of theta? We have angle sum property of a triangle. That is, all three angles sum to 180 degree. Theta plus x is 180 degree. So this will be theta plus 2x equals 180 degree. So what is 2x? 2x will be 180 degree 180 minus theta by, so x will be 180 minus theta by 2. So just divide it. 180 by 2 is 90. 90 minus theta by 2. So x is going to 90 minus theta by 2. This angle we have known. This is 90 minus theta by 2. That is angle TPQ or QPT is 90 minus theta by 2. Now the second concept. Second concept is when you draw a line from the center to the tangent, it is making a 90 degree. Or the tangent will make 90 degree with the radius. This radius and the tangent will be making an angle of 90 degree. This whole angle is 90 degree. Okay, this angle is x, this we have to find, and this whole angle is 90 degree. So we are writing angle TPO or OPT, you can call it as, it is OPT. So angle TPO or OPT, they are same. This angle TPO or OPT equals x, total is x, angle is equal to x plus y. X is angle TPQ and y is what? Angle QPO. But this whole angle is 90 degree, as I just told you. So 90 is x plus y, but x is already known to us, 90 minus theta by 2. So 90 equals 90 minus theta by 2, and this will be plus y. Plus y. It's not equals. 90 equals 90 minus theta by 2 plus y. So what about pi? What about y? Y equals 90 minus 90 plus theta by 2. This is going to be y. 90 gets cancelled. Y equals theta by 2. So y is theta by 2 and theta is what? Angle PTQ. Angle PTQ. So this angle PTQ is theta. Just write angle PTQ. So angle PTQ by 2 is y. And what is y? Y is angle OPQ. OPQ. Y is angle OPQ. Angle PTQ was theta. So this relation is theta equals 2y. Theta equals 2y. So angle PTQ equals twice OPQ equals angle PTQ by 2. So whichever way you write, it's one and the same thing. So this angle PTQ equals twice of angle OPQ, which is the question, which is what being asked for. So part B we were taking, all questions are compulsory and we have seen certain questions. So Meena went to a bank to withdraw rupees 2000. Now, Meena went to a bank, she wanted 2000. She asked the cashier to give her rupees 50 and 100 notes only. Now, Meena got in all 25 notes from the cashier. 25 in all. Find how many notes of rupees 50 and rupees 100 she received. So, how the situation unfolds is that, say, X number of 50 rupees she got and Y number of 100 rupees she got from the cashier. In all, the total number of notes are 25, so X plus Y is equal to 25. Now, what is the total amount? That is, if 50 multiplied by X, so 50 number of X number of 50 note and Y number of 100 note, if you add them, it will be 2000. So these are the two equations which you have to solve. You have to write exactly almost like this. So what we do, X, let Meena has X, received X number of 50 rupees note, Y number of 100, and X plus Y is 25, 50X plus 50X, that is number of notes of 50 denomination and 100 denomination number of notes, it will be 2000. So multiply second equation by 50, subtract the equation, you will get this, multiply this equation by 50. Subtract 50x goes, you will have 50y equals 750, that is y is 15. And put it here, x will be what? 25 minus 15, so x is 10. So Meena has received 10 pieces of 50 rupees notes and 15 pieces of 100 rupees note. A box contains 90 discs which are numbered from 1 to 90. If one disc is drawn at random from the box, find the probability that it bears a 2-digit number, a perfect square number, a number divisible by 5. So you have to do like this. Now let me tell you the concept here. So because the questions which are related or almost equivalent to this type of questions will come, so you have to prepare like this. There are 90 discs. So these are discs round shaped. 90 discs are there. So 1 to 90 numbers are written. So one of the discs is taken from here randomly. It can be any disc. Find the probability that it bears 2-digit number. So please remember, probability means the favorable case, number of favorable cases. divided by number of total possible cases, number of all possible cases. The division is the probability, 2-digit number. So from 1 to 9, there are 1 digit. But after 9, it starts with 10. So now 10 is the first 2-digit number, 10, 11, 12 like this. So how many 2-digit numbers are there? You can subtract these 9 numbers which are single digit from 90. So 90 minus 9 is going to be 81. So 81 favorable cases, and what are the number of total cases? 90. So 81 by 90, that is 9 by 10 is the answer here. Coming to the perfect square number. Now 1 to 90, what are the perfect square? So 2 square is 4, 3 square 9, 4 4 16, 5 5 25, 6 6 36, 7 7 49, 8 8 64, and 9 9 81, 10 10. 10 10 100 it goes up, so we'll not include 10 10. So how many numbers are there? If you count it, it will be 9. So these are 9 numbers, and these are the favorable cases. So we have to divide these favorable cases, these 9 numbers, divided by your 90, 9 by 90, and this is going to be 1 by 10. So it will be 1 by 10 is the answer. The third is number divisible by 5. Now you have to take all the numbers. It will be 18 numbers. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, all the table of 5 you have to count. So 18 numbers are favorable cases, 90 total cases, 1 by 5 is the answer. One card is drawn from a well-shuffled deck of 52 cards. Find the probability of getting king of red color or spade, the queen of diamonds. So there are in all 52 cards. 52 cards, and then they are divided first in 2 colors, red and black. So 26, 26. And these 52 are divided into 4 different decks. Different decks. So 13, 13, 13, 13. That is 4 decks are there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or you can say the shades, partitions are there. All are 13. Now every deck has its own queen, its own king, like this. Queen, king, ikka, ace, or joker. So now the question is a king of red color. So as I said, 26 are red and 26 are black. In this 26 red, there are more partition of 13, 13. And this 13, 13, as I said, all these 13, 13, 13, 13 partition will have their own queen or king. So if you talk about king, one will come from 13, one will come from 13, because 26 are red. So we just have to take 26 red, and then again there is 26. We have 13, 13. In 113 there will be 1 king. In another 13 there will be one king. So there will be 2 king. And what is the total possibility? All the cards, number of cards are 52. So 2 by 52 is the king of red color. What is a spade? A spade. Now as I said, these 4 partition, 13 spades are there. 13 diamonds are there. So 13 divided by 52. Favorable case 13, total 52, 1 by 4 is the answer. Coming to the queen of diamonds. Queen of diamonds. So now diamonds, that is one more partition, and 1 queen will be there. 1 partition will be diamond, and only 1 queen will be there. As I said, this 52 is divided into 4 parts, and only 1 queen, 1 king, everyone will have their own king and queen, etc. So only 1 queen will come, and in all there are 52, total 52. So 1 by 52 is the answer. Metallic spheres or radius 6 cm, 8 cm, 10 cm respectively are melted to form a solid sphere and the radius of the resulting sphere. What does it mean? One sphere is 6 cm, second, third. So the radius is given. One is 6, the other is, this is 8. It's like a cricket ball or a football. Not football, football is hollow from inside. So 6, 8, 10. It has to be full. 6, 8, 10. Now they are melted and combinedly a solid sphere is being made. What is the radius of this? This one. So what is the volume? V1, V2, V3. When you combine this, volume will be added, V1, V2, V3. And what about this? It will be equal to the final volume. So volume of a sphere is 4 by 3 pi r cube. So 4 by 3 pi r cube is the final one, and 4 by 3 pi r1 cube, 4 by 3 pi r2 cube, and 4 by 3 pi r3 cube. So this will be added equal to the final one. 4 by 3 pi you can take common and you can cancel it. So R cube will be equal to R1 cube, that is 6 cube, R2 cube is 8 cube, and R3 cube is 10 cube. So cube root will be 12. Cube root, you have to find out cube root. If you don't want, you can just take the factors and then combine 3 and multiply them. 12 will come, 12 centimeter. Sin A minus cos A plus 1 and sin A plus cos A minus 1 equals 1 by sec A minus tan A. Now most of the questions which has come in the sample paper are coming from the solved question of NCERT. First thing is, you have to observe that left hand side and right hand side. Left has all sin cos, right hand side has sec and tan. So we'll not be dealing with sin and cos in this case. We have to convert this left hand side in sec A, cos sec A or tan A. So how to do this? So we'll divide numerator denominator by cos A. In order to make this as sec and tan, we are dividing each and every term by cos A. So when we divide by cos A, what do you get? Sin A by cos A is tan A. This cos A is 1. 1 by cos A is sec. Then you have sin A by cos A tan A. And then plus cos A by cos A is 1. Minus 1 by cos A sec A. Okay, this is clear now. Okay, now if you see, denominator is sec A minus tan A. So we have to have, means if some cancellation is there, numerator and denominator, if something gets cancelled, there is a part of denominator which still remains. And we know that sec square A minus tan square A is 1. We know this relationship. So this relationship, this identity we are going to use. Not in the numerator, but in the denominator. Why in the denominator? Because when we take something common and cancel, something has to be in the denominator. That means we have to do something in the denominator only. So this 1 will be replaced by sec square A minus tan square A. Sec square theta equals 1 plus tan square theta. Or you can say sec square A minus tan square equals 1. So I am taking the denominator, okay? I am taking only the denominator now. So in place of 1, denominator, 1 minus sec A plus tan A we can form. Now this 1 you are writing sec square A minus tan square A. So this will be minus sec A minus tan A minus sec A. Okay. It will be sec A minus tan A. Sorry. It will be sec A minus tan A. So we just need to change it. Please remember, numerator we haven't taken. You might be asking a question, why we have not changed the numerator 1 to the sec square A minus tan square A? Just for the discussion, that denominator we need. So we have sec square A minus tan square A minus this is sec square A minus tan square A is what? A square minus B square. So it is sec A minus tan A. So I am writing sec A minus tan A and sec A plus tan A minus this is sec A minus tan A. Please remember, it is sec A minus tan A. I am writing tan A minus sec A, but it is sec A minus tan A. I'll just show how this I'll change in the later part. So sec A minus sec, basically it is sec A minus tan A. I am taking common because sec A minus tan A, and this will be this. See, sec A minus, I am taking only the denominator, right? Sec A minus tan A, when we take common, it will be sec A minus sec A plus tan A from the first, and then we have minus 1 also, because as I said, it is sec A minus tan A. It's not tan A minus sec A. I just wrote it. It's kind of a mistake you can assume. So just assume that it is sec A minus tan A. Now sec A minus tan A we have taken common. So you have sec A plus tan A minus 1. I hope you got this idea. And still this is the denominator only. So it is the denominator. But what about the numerator? Numerator is already sec A plus tan A minus 1. It is sec A plus tan A minus 1. So this gets cancelled. So you have 1 by sec A minus tan A. So this is what you have to do here. A motorboat whose speed in still water is 18 km per hour take 1 hour more to go 24 km upstream than to return downstream to the same spot. Find the speed of the stream. So the answer is in front of you. Let me tell you the concept here, because this kind of question will definitely come. So this is the water in the stream. Okay. So water is moving, water is flowing. The speed of water flowing is x. Now the motorboat speed in still water is 18 km an hour. If water is not moving, water is standstill, the speed of motor is 18 km an hour. This is still water speed. So now when water is not moving, it's 18. But when you go either side, there will be a difference of the speed. When it will go with water, when it will go against the water, let us start with the against water. So this is the motorboat we are talking about. Now its speed is 18. Now this water will be stopping because it is going against the speed of the water. So the speed, that is the actual speed, will be what? It will not be 18 because it's working against the speed of the water. So 18 minus x. What about downstream? This speed of water will help the motorboat. It is going to help the motorboat. So it will be helping. So 18 plus x it will be. 18 plus x. What is the distance? From here to here, the distance, either going either way, the distance is 24. So when the distance is 24, the speed is what? Speed is distance by time. Time is what? Distance by speed. So this T1, or you can say TU. Better is to say TU. TU is upstream, TD is downstream. So now this time will be distance by speed. So 24 by 18 minus x and 24 by 18 minus x. Distance remains same for both the sides. Now 1 hour, it is making more time to go upstream. So because it is making more effort, it is going against water, it will take more time. So the TU upstream, this is more. That means you have to add something to the downstream. Downstream is taking 1. That is, you can also say like this, the difference between the upstream and downstream, because upstream is higher number, so you will take TU minus TD, not TD minus TU, equals 1. Now just put this value, 24 by 18 minus x minus 24 by 18 plus x equals 1. Okay, so this you will be able to solve. I hope this can be solved easily. 24 you can take common and then cross multiply, take 18 minus x, 18 plus x on the right side, rearrange. There will be a quadratic equation. When you solve this quadratic equation, it will be x equals x minus 54 and x equals 6. Negative you won't take. It will never be, speed will never be negative. X is 6, so the speed of the stream is 6 km an hour. The speed of the stream or water is 16 km an hour. Now this is OR. Previous one or this one, you can do either of these. Find two consecutive odd positive integers, sum of whose squares is 290. So consecutive odd positive integers. You know, in few books, first we make the number odd. That is, if you multiply a number with 2, it is even. When you add 1, it is for sure it will be an odd number. So 2x plus 1 and then 2x plus 3. These type of two numbers they will take and then multiply. They will square it and add them, and it is equal to 290. So two consecutive odd positive integers, sum of whose square is 290. 2x plus 1 whole square, 2x plus 3 whole square equals 290. So even if you do this, the same answer will come. But in this question, it won't matter, because when you get the value of x, you will see that it will be 11 and 13 only. So x and x plus 2 are the consecutive. One is x, other one is x plus 2. It cannot be x plus 1, right? It will be even, odd, like this. So x square plus x plus 2 whole square equals 290. And there will be a quadratic equation. I hope you will be able to solve this. X is 11 and x is minus 13. So you won't take minus 13, convert it, it's not negative. So 1 is 11, 1 is 11 plus 2, that is 13. So the positive odd are 11 and 13. Even if you square them and then add them, it will be 290. If you add them, square them and add them, it will be 290. The angles of depression of top and bottom of 8-meter tall building from the top of multi-storied building are 30 and 45 degree, respectively. Find the height of the multi-storied building and the distance between the two buildings. So here is the scenario. Let me explain you the scenario first. This is the multi-storied building. This is the multi-story building. And here we have 8-meter tall building. So this is a building of 8-meter tall. This is a multi-storied building. Now if you see from here, the depression is 30 degree and 45 degree. So the upper one will always be smaller angle and the lower one will always be bigger than that angle. So you have 30 degree and 45 degree. Now, what do we do? Find the height of the multi-storied. So here, first is the distance, that is AC or ED you have to find out, and this height of the multi-storied. So you see the diagram again. This is multi-storied, this is smaller one. 8 meter, and this are two angles. Angle of depression, we know that alternate angles are equal, that is why this is 30, this is 45 degree, this is 8. This will also be 8. This whole is h. From up to down, multi-story is h, but one part we have taken as 8. This will be h minus 8. So two triangle we are going to use and the trigonometric equation we are going to use. First is, we have to find out the distance also. So let us say it is d. Okay. So first, this triangle we are going to take, this triangle. So tan 30 equal perpendicular by base, h minus 8 by this d. This is our first equation. What about the other triangle? This other triangle, it will be tan 45 degree equals perpendicular, and now the whole h we are going to take, h by d. Tan 45 is 1, so h equals d. Now you put d here, in place of d you put h. So tan 30 will be h minus 8 by h. Tan 30 is 1 by root 3, so h minus 8 by h. Now I leave it here because this we are able to solve. Okay, this 12 plus 4 root 3 will come. Now what you have to do is you have to rationalize also, means rationalization factor also. Just see, this is the way you have to do, not the way I told you, because I just gave you the idea how to solve it. I didn't give you a proper line by line solution. This is line by line solution you have to do. Rationalization factor root 3 plus 1, root 3 plus 1 also you have to employ. You have to employ this, multiply this. Then only 12 plus 4 root 3 will come. Okay. This is the way you have to solve, and then only you'll get the full max. Now this question is in OR. Either you do the previous one or you do this one. Any of this. A 1.2 meter tall girl spots a balloon. So there is a girl standing here. And spots a balloon moving with the wind in a horizontal line at a height of 88.2 meter. So 88.2 is from the ground. From the ground. These balloons are there. Now this balloon is there. There is only one balloon. And now it is moving. The angle of elevation of the balloon from the eyes of the girl at any instant is 60 degree. So this is 60 degree. And now this balloon moves. The angle becomes 30 degree. It has gone there now, 30 degree. So now find the distance traveled by the balloon during the interval. So now this, from this to this point, this distance we have to find out, because how far it has moved. The solution is there in front of you, but let me tell you what we have to do. So here is the girl standing. This is balloon, this is balloon. Now this 1.2 meter is the height of the girl, and the height of the balloon from the ground is 88.2. So first we have to find out the height of, we have to subtract this girl height. So 88.2 minus 1.2, because we want this height. In order to make this triangle or trigonometry possible, we have to take this triangle. This angle is what? Is 60 degree. So tan 60 is perpendicular by base. So you have to write all the triangles, etc. Right? It's 87 by base. Now we don't know. Let us say that it is x. Let us say it is x. Now take whole from a to b total as y. So actually we have to find out db, which is y minus x. Why we are taking total as y? Because we want this triangle also. This angle is 30 degree. So tan 30 is equal to perpendicular by, this is 87 by x. Okay. Tan 30 degree is perpendicular by base. Perpendicular. So this 87 by base we have taken as y. It is total distance of the girl from the second position of the balloon. 27 by y. Okay. Now we have to find out y minus x. Please remember y minus x. So x will be 87 by tan 60 degree. And what will be y? Y will be 87 by tan 30. Now we have to find out tan 30 is 1 by root 3. So 87, 1 by root 3 will be, root 3 goes up. 87 root 3. Tan 60 is root 3 only. So it will remain as 87 by root 3. X is 87 by root 3. Okay, now we have to find out y minus x. Y minus x we have to find out. So this distance, how far this balloon has traveled. Y minus x will be 87 root 3 minus 87 by root 3. And this will come as 58 root 3. When you solve this, it's going to be 58 root 3. Okay. So I'll just show you this expanded. So this is the way you have to do it. You know, 58 root 3. The concept I told you. The pth, qth and rth terms of an AP are A, B, C respectively. Show that A, Q minus R, B, R minus P plus C, P minus Q equals 0. Now if you see the solution is in front of you, I will tell you the way to solve it. Now Tn term of AP is what? A plus n minus 1 into D. And since already A is given as some value, so we will not take A and D. PQR term we will find out. So TP will be what? Capital A I am taking in place of small a. A plus P minus 1 into D. Capital D I am taking. What is TQ and TR? So it's A plus Q minus 1 into D. And I'm writing this because this way, just to show how it's going to be cancelled, because these are the terms we are going to add. So now this is A. This A plus P minus 1 into D is A. So multiply this with Q minus R, because the question is saying A Q minus R. Now multiply this with R minus P, because B is multiplied by R minus P. We are multiplying this whole with P minus Q, because C is multiplied with P minus Q. Okay. Now TP, TQ, TR. What are these? TP is A, TQ is B, and TR is C. Okay. ABC are these terms. So these are all ABC. Now let us add these. I'm taking only A wala term. Only A term. A into Q minus R plus P, A into R minus P plus A into P minus Q. Now I'm taking A common. So it will be Q minus R plus R minus P plus P minus Q. This all gets cancelled. And then only A into 0 will come. So first term you understood. And what about the other term? If you actually multiply, A will be multiplied by Q minus R and P minus 1 into D will be multiplied by Q minus R. A into Q minus R and other terms added we have already done. Now it will only deal with this D. So D into P minus R, P minus 1 into Q minus R plus D Q minus 1 into R minus P plus D into R minus 1 into P minus Q. Now you can take D common. You can take D common from here. So when you take D common, I am just eliminating just to show that we D already taken common. So we will deal only with this multiplication. So PQ minus PR minus Q plus R. Then QR minus QP minus R plus P. Then you have RP minus RQ minus P plus Q. Okay, what do you see here? Everything gets cancelled. QQ gets cancelled. RR will get cancelled. And QQ and then PP will get cancelled. Similar to the first part, all these single term will cancel. And also the double term will also get cancelled. PQ is also there. QP is also there. Means minus PQ and minus PQ, both are there. And then PR, just cancel it. And QR, cancel it. You'll get a 0. Right? So this whole was A, we multiplied with Q minus R, and then we added. So A into 0 and D into 0, that is 0 will come eventually. This is a statistics question. A survey regarding the heights of 51 girls of class 10 of a school was conducted and the following data was obtained. Find the median height and the mean using the formula. So what do we do here? Median and mean is to be found out. So this is 160, 165. So we'll write it as 160, 165. And 155 to 160, we can write like this. And this will be less than 140. So first let us give it in an interval. So below 140, 140 to 145, like this, till 160 to 165. Now frequency is given. Now whenever we find out median, we will try to find out the cumulative frequency. What is cumulative frequency? 4 will come like this. 4 plus 7 will come 11. 4 plus 7 plus 18. Now 4 plus 7 plus 18 plus 11, here 40. 4, 7, 18, 11, 6, that will be 46. Then all this added 51. So even if you add all the frequencies, it has to come 51. So 51 is the total sigma f or the cumulative frequency final. You divide it by 2, it will be 25.5. Then you have to find out where it is lying. So which number is higher than this 25.5? 29. In cumulative frequency, which is higher than 25.5? This is 29. So this is your median class. So median class is 145 to 150. How to find out median? L plus n by 2 minus c by f into h. L is what? The lower limit. 145 is the lower limit. N by 2 we have already found out, 25.5. Minus c. What is the cumulative frequency? This cumulative frequency of the preceding class. So what is the preceding class? 140, 145. What is the cumulative frequency? 11. So in place of c, you have to write 11. What is our f? Frequency of the cumulative of the class is 18. What about h? What is the class interval? It's 5. So whatever I told you, you just put it here. 149.03 will come. Now coming to the mean, and just use the direct method. Just use the direct method. How to do this? We already had this. You already have f. So just take the middle point. It's 140. You know, it will be 35 to 140. So take the middle point, like 135 plus 140 divided by 2. So you have to do it for each and every term. So you have xi. The frequency was already there. So now multiply fi xi. So 4 into 137.5, 7 into 142.5. Multiply f and x. So you have to find sigma miss fx. So you just add it. Sigma fx will come. And denominator you have sigma f. Sigma f is what? Basically cumulative frequency is there. Sigma f. 51 will be coming. So this n is sigma f only. So what you have to find out is sigma fx by sigma f. So what do you get? 149.75. This is the final answer. These questions, this statistics question always take time. Okay, this is all about the question answers of sample question. Thank you so much. Take care of yourself.